Part 44. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 433. Where is this? Qin Ji looked at the calm sea in front of him, unable to associate it with the sea before the storm. The Centaur just reported that there was a strange signal and rushed towards Qin Ji's command ship. Just when Qin Ji was trying to figure out what this strange signal was from the Centaur, a fierce white light appeared in front of everyone, and after the white light passed, everyone's eyes recovered, and the scene they saw was what they saw. In fact, not only Qin Ji was confused, but even the ship girl on the ship was full of doubts. At this time, Hao and Yi, who were observing the storm on the upper deck, also returned to the cabin. Their expressions were solemn, and they obviously had some understanding of the situation in front of them. Commander Qin Ji, it is very likely that we have come to the Mirror Sea area, Hao said to Qin Ji word by word. Mirror Sea area, Qin Ji's eyes lit up. Is it the sea space parallel to the outside sea area mentioned in the previous book? Yes, there will be no other situation besides this, Hao nodded. But the book says that Mirror Sea areas generally appear in level 5 sea areas or level 6 sea areas. Why does it appear in level 4 sea areas? Moreover, the Centaur detected a strange signal before. That signal came directly towards our command ship. Could it be that it came here specifically to target us? Qin Ji said doubtfully. Hao nodded. It's very possible. I wonder if Commander Qin still remembers the siren vortex you encountered when you came back from the third-level waters of Shenhua City last time. Qin Ji nodded. Well, Kabuli fell out of the siren vortex, so what Hao means is that the siren has already targeted me. When Qin Ji said these words, all the ship girls couldn't help but feel tense. Hao nodded. I'm afraid it's not possible, but inevitable. The appearance of Commander Qin Ji shocked all the 9 camps. So it cannot be ruled out that the siren has learned of your existence. I heard Sister George say before that you also participated in Chongying's battle against the purifiers, so from that time on, you should have been under siren's surveillance. Qin Ji nodded thoughtfully. It's understandable, so what should we do now? How to leave this Mirror Sea? Hao said to Qin Ji, in all known Mirror Sea areas, there is a main console, and the location of that main console is the siren's stronghold. As long as we capture that main console, we can leave the Mirror Sea area. Qin Ji nodded. Then can we send a signal to the fleet outside to help? Hao shook his head. No, the Mirror Sea area is a space independent of the outside world. The barriers here have completely blocked signals and radio waves, so it is impossible to contact any fleet from the outside world. Now we can only hope that we can quickly find the main console in this Mirror Sea. Otherwise, if time goes by, we will definitely run out of supplies, and we will be trapped in this Mirror Sea. Qin Ji looked serious. It's true as you said, we must find the siren stronghold immediately and seize the console. At this time, Qin Ji turned his head and said to Guanghui and Centaur, Guanghui, Centaur, you aircraft carriers are launching into the water now, release carrier-based aircraft immediately, explore how big this Mirror Sea area is, and collect information on the way. Yes, Commander Guanghui nodded, and together with the Centaur, the formidable unicorn, left the command ship at the same time, came to the sea, and began to release its carrier-based aircraft, letting the carrier-based aircraft move in different directions. Flew out. Looking at the departing carrier-based aircraft, Qin Ji looked serious. After all, this was his first time encountering the Mirror Sea and he had never dealt with such a situation before. Hao on the side looked at Qin Ji's face and said, Commander Qin Ji, in the Mirror Sea, only cooperation can help us get out smoothly, so counterattack and I will join your command sequence and fight with you. Qin Ji suddenly became excited when he heard that Hao and the others were going to join his command line. After all, these two were awakened ship girls. And unlike Kauki, who has just awakened, These two ship girls have been awakened for a long time. Although they are not as powerful as Akagi and Kaga, they are still the top forces in the same camp. Then I would like to thank you again. With the power of you two, I feel a lot more relieved this time, Shinji said to how he encounter attack. Hehe, I understand Commander Shinji's command. I have always wanted to cooperate with you before, but I never had the chance. Now that I finally have this opportunity, I will definitely follow your orders. Counterattack smiled. Thank you, Shinji smiled and said. As time passed by, the carrier-based aircraft of several ship girls did not find anything unusual. The entire Mirror Sea area seemed very calm, and it seemed to have no end. Strange, I have never encountered such a strange Mirror Sea area, Hao said after listening to the information reported by Guanghui. Weird, Shinji asked confused. Hao nodded. I have encountered Mirror Seas many times before, but every Mirror Sea has an end, and it will not be as endless as now. Moreover, there are siren fleets in the Mirror Sea, but I have never seen such a calm Mirror Sea. Isn't this weird? Hearing what Hao said, Shinji couldn't help but frowned. Then what should we do now? I think we can't wait here any longer. Otherwise, let the aircraft carrier mother take back her carrier-based aircraft, keep the command ship moving in one direction, and turn on the ship's carrier-based radar, so as to cope with the ever-changing situation. Hao said to Shinji. Shinji nodded. After all, after arriving in the Mirror Sea area, in order to prevent any accidents from happening, Shinji ordered Belfast to anchor the ship on the sea without any movement. Then do as you say, Shinji nodded. Although the book has introduced the Mirror Sea area, Shinji has no experience fighting in the Mirror Sea area, so this time he has to listen to Hao's opinions on counterattack. Therefore, Shinji immediately notified several aircraft carrier ladies to take back his carrier-based aircraft and asked Belfast to restart the ship and sail forward. At this time, in the Siren stronghold in the Pacific Ocean, the observers were smiling and staring at the screen in front of them, and the picture displayed on the screen was Shinji's command ship. Tester, our guests have started to move. How is your level layout? The observer smiled. The tester on the side nodded. The levels have been set up, just waiting for the brave to start breaking through them. Haha, that's great. Let's look forward to what kind of performance the hero will have. The observer smiled, looking like a cunning fox. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 434. The command ship was moving slowly. Shinji did not ask Belfast to increase the speed, but asked her to move forward slowly. Although Guanghui and the others had just released the carrier-based aircraft and had inspected the sea area, the boundless emptiness always filled Shinji's heart with a haze. Moreover, the driving speed has slowed down. If there is any abnormal movement around, Shinji and the ship girls can also react. However, I don't know when, a light mist gradually rose from the sea. This kind of mist did not attract Shinji's attention. It is very normal for a light mist to rise in the sea, especially on such a still sea. But soon, the mist attracted everyone's attention. Because they found that the fog was getting thicker and thicker, and they could no longer see clearly the conditions in the sea in front of the command ship. When did such a thick sea fog appear? Shinji looked at the sea in front of him and said in surprise. I don't know. When I noticed the fog, it was still light, but in the blink of an eye it turned into such a thick fog. Standing next to Shinji, Hao said in surprise. Have you ever encountered such thick sea fog before? Shinji asked. The counterattack on the side shook his head. I have never encountered it before, and there is no record of it in the Royal Combat Information. Shinji suddenly became very serious. Then you can be sure that this must be Siren's fault. After finishing speaking, he walked to the side of the communicator and said in the communicator, everyone, pay attention, surround the command ship in a wheel formation, make sure everyone is within the visual range, and don't stray too far away from the command ship. Always be vigilant and watch out for sirens. Yes. After hearing the response, Qin put down the communicator, turned to look at Hao and said, "Hao, fight back. The two of you stay on the ship with me. If there is a situation that my ship girl cannot handle, you can attack again." Hao nodded, "No problem." Qin turned to look at Belfast. "Belfast, you also go to the sea, remember to stay vigilant at all times." Belfast let go of the rudder and saluted Qin. "Yes, my master." As Belfast left, Qin took over the rudder and continued to sail forward along the route set by Belfast. In the thick sea fog, it was impossible to see what was ahead. Everyone just concentrated on driving forward slowly. Several aircraft carriers such as Guanghui also tried to release their aircraft, but those aircraft returned to the sky. No matter how high they flew, they still could not leave the scope of the thick fog, making it impossible to conduct reconnaissance. Therefore, the few people could only retract the carrier-based aircraft, tightly surround the command ship, and slowly move forward. I don't know how long we drove, but suddenly a charming voice sounded in the sea fog, "Welcome to my mirror sea, Commander Qin." The people who were exercising in the sea fog stopped for a moment, and looked in front of the person who made the sound. In the command ship, Hao and counterattack looked at Qin at the same time. Now it was clear to several people that this was indeed a trap set by the siren for Qin. And Hao could clearly feel the familiar voice just now, "Tester." Qin also felt something in his heart. He had seen the purifier before, and the tester had heard about it countless times from books and conversations with other camp girls. And this time, can we finally get a glimpse of her? Qin stopped the command ship, turned to Hao and counterattacked and nodded, and the three of them walked up the stairs next to the command room to the top deck of the command ship. Although the sea fog was still thick, Qin could clearly feel a pair of eyes staring at her. Looking at the sea fog in front of him, Qin said loudly, "Are you the tester?" "Yes, I am the siren senior humanoid you are talking about," the tester, the charming voice in the distance continued. Qin continued to shout, "According to your strength, can't you easily eliminate us? Why did you bring us to this mirror sea? Destroy you? Haha, that has never been our purpose," said the charming voice in the distance. Qin frowned. He thought of his previous judgment, so he raised his head and said to the tester, "I thought before that if this world was treated as a school, then we commanders and ship girls are students, and you are his teacher. You have been teaching strictly and assigned us a series of difficult homework. The ultimate goal is to let us pass the exam. But what kind of exam it was, I can't speculate now, but I think passing that exam will help us pass the exam. The exam must also be your goal." After Qin finished saying this, the charming voice in the thick fog stopped for a moment, followed by a burst of laughter. "Haha, I have to say, Commander Qin, you are really an interesting person, you can think of that, but I can tell you clearly that we have never been a teacher and a student, you are just experimental subjects," the charming voice in the thick fog said, with such a frivolous tone. Hearing the tester's answer, Qin frowned. Did he guess wrong? However, the experiment. Qin suddenly raised his head and stared at the sea fog in front of him. "Experimental subjects, if you think we are experimental subjects, then you are the ones who performed the experiment, or perhaps the ones who recorded the experiment. So, everything makes sense. The purpose of your experiment is to allow us to evolve amidst these difficulties, and to allow all ship girls to awaken amidst these difficulties, so that you can collect data on how these ship girls can become stronger. However, you are the ones doing the experiment after all, so I believe there must be other people standing behind you. Because a laboratory cannot exist without the support of a force. Haha, what a terrifying method, able to use a world as an experiment. But such an existence wants to record the data of our evolution. Can you explain to me what it is for? What a keen judgment. It seems that we still underestimate you, the charming voice in the thick fog said, but do you want to know the answer? If you want to know the answer, there are a total of 6 levels in front of you. As long as you pass these levels, I can tell you the answer to this question. Qin grinned. If you tell me the answer, aren't you afraid that the person behind it will know? Is Commander Qin so confident? These 6 levels are very difficult, and if you fail, you will die. So I want to know if I am afraid, and I want to know the answer to this question. In the end, you will got it, said the charming voice. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 435. By the way, I forgot to tell you. A hero's breakthrough is usually accompanied by rewards. In addition to the answers I will tell you after you pass these levels, you will be rewarded with some good things at the end of each small level. Whether you can get it and whether you can make it to the end depends on your luck. So, our game starts now, so work hard. As the charming voice gradually stopped, the mist in front of everyone gradually dissipated. What should we do now, Commander Qin? How asked Qin. What else can I do? This tester is obviously here for me. Now that these 6 levels have been laid out, it will definitely not be easy. But one thing I can guarantee is that these 6 levels will not be too difficult, Qin Song said to Hao. Why? Hao asked. Qin turned his head and looked at the increasingly clear sea ahead, and said, just like what I just said, if they want to kill us, it will be a very simple thing. But they will not do that, because in their eyes, we are guinea pigs, and guinea pigs have the value of guinea pigs. And have you ever seen a siren target a commander in such a big way? No, Hao said without any hesitation. Qin smiled, so, it confirmed my idea. If I were a staff member recording experiments, then the strongest one among a group of white mice would be the one most likely to mutate and evolve. One is naturally the focus I need. I must ensure its survival in order to achieve greater breakthroughs in my experiment. And I am such a guinea pig now. If you want to get more information and more data from me, you must first keep me alive. So although the 6 levels we face next are difficult, we can certainly pass them. This is my judgment. After listening to Qin words, Hao he couldn't help but nodded. Especially Hao, looking at Qin confident look, couldn't help but smile and said, Commander Qin still has such strong self-confidence and such a good attitude under such circumstances, it is really admirable. Qin smiled and shook his head, since things have reached this point now, and it is useless to regret it, it is better to stand up and face it with a smile. At least there is a glimmer of hope, right? Yeah, Hao nodded. Qin turned around with a smile and glanced at the ship girls surrounding the command ship who were looking at him. Finally, he smiled and nodded to them, then turned and walked off the top deck of the command ship. When Qin returned to the control console on the command ship, he saw that the fog on the sea had completely disappeared, and at this time, many red dots suddenly appeared on the radar. Qin immediately picked up the communication device and said to all the ship girls, attention everyone, a large number of siren fleets appeared in front of us, and all aircraft carrier-based aircraft took off to seize air supremacy. Others, based on the intelligence reported by the aircraft carrier, look for the breaking point. Yes, Commander. Upon hearing Qin call, all the ship girls responded through the communicator at the same time. So, all of a sudden, the carrier-based aircraft flew up from the deck of Guanghui and others, flying towards the sea area ahead, and all the ship girls also broke away from the wheel formation, and galloped forward in a single vertical formation. Go. Hao on the command ship said to Qin Commander Qin let's fight together. Qin Ji shook his head. Don't worry, this is the first level. If you are sent on stage at this time, then you will be overqualified. Wait until they can no longer support you, then you can come on stage again. Seeing Qin Ji's determination, Hao said nothing more and just looked ahead. The speed of the carrier-based aircraft is naturally much faster than the movement speed of the ship girls. Soon Guanghui reported to Qin Gaiwei, Commander, we have now come into contact with the Siren Fleet. There are 3 large Siren Fleets in total. The combination is complete, and according to my estimation, their training level should be around 70. And I also found the Explorer, the Tracker, and the Ocean Leader among the 3 large Siren Fleets. Qin Ji nodded and said to the communication device, attention all aircraft carriers, now use all your strength to seize the air supremacy. The Vanguard Fleet will conduct defensive counterattacks. When the air supremacy is seized, we will work step by step to annihilate the enemy. Yes, Commander. Even though he was facing 3 large Siren fleets, Qin Ji still chose the strategy of seizing air supremacy. Because there is Guanghui, the awakened ship girl, in his fleet, and with Guanghui's awakening, her advantage in seizing air supremacy becomes even greater. That's why Qin Ji's attitude is so decisive. Accompanied by the rumble of planes in the distance and the constant sound of explosions and gunfire, even though Qin Ji was in a safe state in the command ship, he still clenched his fists. There are many large fleets like this in the erosion level 4 waters, but so far, Qin Ji's fleet has only faced 2 large Siren fleets at the same time. Now that there are 3 fleets, there are indeed some difficulties. Only precise coordination and rapid maneuvering are required to quickly annihilate these 3 Siren fleets. What's more, among these 3 Siren fleets, there are 3 humanoid Sirens, which further increases the difficulty. However, Qin Ji's shipgirl did not disappoint him. Even when facing 3 large Siren fleets at the same time, under constant restraint and pulling, Guanghui, Centaur and others finally successfully gained air supremacy. From the moment the air supremacy was seized, the battle had already concluded. So under the attack step by step, the 3 Siren fleets were eaten away bit by bit and were wiped out on the sea. Although several Siren humanoids were a bit troublesome to deal with, they eventually died on the spot after several rounds of bombings by carrier-based aircraft dispatched by several aircraft carriers. When the last leader fell, the battle finally came to an end. At this time, a siren vortex appeared on the sea in front of the ship girls. When everyone was on alert, a box full of technology fell out of the siren whirlpool, and the charming voice also appeared in the sea. Congratulations on completing the first level. What a beautiful battle. As a reward for passing the first level, this box contains crystals of scientific research test data, which can quickly supplement the combat data needed for the scientific research ship. As for the second level, it will open 10 hours later. Haha, be grateful, we have given you enough time, so see you after the second level is over. After hearing the message from the charming voice, Qin Ji immediately reacted, picked up the communication device, and said to all the ship girls, salvage that box and return everyone to the command ship. Yes. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 436. As all the ship girls returned, a thick fog rose above the sea. It completely blocked the only visible field of vision, and for the first time, even the radar signal was blocked. It seems that they have arranged for us to rest. With this level of sea fog, we can't do anything at all. Qin Ji looked at the thick fog outside the window of the command ship and said to all the ship girls. Indeed, and I don't think they have any desire to attack, Hao said to Qin Ji. Qin Ji nodded, it is indeed like this. It can be seen from their reaction to us just now. So now we can finally rest peacefully for a while, but first let us take a look at what the first level reward is like. It's something. As soon as Qin Ji said this, everyone's eyes fell on the box in Belfast's hand. Upon seeing this, Belfast put the box on the table nearby, and at this time everyone saw clearly what the box looked like. It looks the same as the technology box, but it is different from the technology box. It comes in 4 colors: white, blue, purple and gold. The color of this box is purple-red, which is very similar to the planned ship mind that Qin-Ji has now. The color of the Rubik's Cube. Qin-Ji originally wanted to step forward and open the box, but was stopped by Guang Hui beside him. "Commander, you are the leader here, so don't take unnecessary risks. Leave work like this to us." Guang Hui looked at Qin-Ji and said. "I think Guang Hui is right. It's impossible to completely trust the sirens now, so it's normal for them to do something in the box. Let's open this box," Rodney said. Qin-Ji looked at the worried looks of all the ship girls and couldn't help but nodded. "Well, since you are so worried, then it is up to you to open this box." "Yes, Commander," Rodney nodded. Since she was a battleship, she naturally walked aboard without hesitation. Rodney reached out and touched the switch of the purple-red box, and saw the purple-red box split into 2 halves in an instant. And in the middle of the box that was divided into 2 halves, a purple-red chip-like thing was placed there quietly, looking very strange. "Is this the crystal that Siren and the others are talking about, the scientific research test data?" Qin-Ji looked at the chip in front of him and said with some surprise. "I think it's almost possible, because the color and style of this chip are very similar to the mined Rubik's Cube held by Commander Qin-Ji. There should be nothing wrong with it, and I think those high-level Siren humanoids don't even bother to use this kind of technology. Are you going to use dirty tricks to deal with us?" he said in counterattack. Qin-Ji nodded. "The counterattack is right. To them, we are like a piece of meat on the chopping board. They don't need to use this method to deal with us." "Then Commander, take out the Rubik's Cube, or give it a try," Guang Hui said to Qin-Ji. Qin-Ji nodded and took out the mental cube that planned the ship. "I saw that the mental Rubik's Cube was emitting a purple-red light at this time, and the scientific research test data crystal on the table was also emitting light. The 2 rays of light seemed to be at the same frequency, flashing together. It seems that this mental Rubik's Cube reacts to that crystal," Qin-Ji said in surprise. "If there is a reaction, it proves that Siren did not lie to us." Hao nodded while looking at this scene. The other ship girls also nodded, so Qin-Ji placed the mind cube on the table, closer to the crystal. And when Qin-Ji's hand just left, the mind cube and the crystal were all suspended at the same time. This made Belfast, who felt something was wrong, immediately protect Qin-Ji behind him, and the other ship girls also defended themselves. Posture. Under everyone's attention, the suspended scientific research and test data crystal slowly moved towards the direction of the mind cube until the 2 were stuck together. And then a magical scene appeared. The purple-red crystal of scientific research test data slowly integrated into the mind cube, just as the mind cube absorbed it. Until the crystallization of the scientific research test data was completely integrated into the mental Rubik's Cube, the light released by the limiting Rubik's Cube became more intense, and Qin-Ji sensed that the combat data in the mental Rubik's Cube had been collected, and she was longing for it to take form. So Qin-Ji slowly pushed away from Belfast, and walked to the side of the mind cube under the gaze of all the ship girls. "Commander? The situation is not clear yet. Please don't touch her yet. What if she hurts you?" Guang Hui said hurriedly. After hearing this, Qin-Ji turned around and shook his head towards the light, then turned around and looked at the mental cube floating in front of him that was emitting purple-red light. "No, she won't hurt me, I can feel it. That anticipation, that excitement, I get her." While speaking, Qin-Ji stretched out his hands and touched the purple-red mind cube. In an instant, the purple-red light erupted from the mind cube became even brighter, wrapping Qin-Ji in it. The ship girls who saw the scene were a little anxious. They wanted to go up and pull Qin-Ji away, but they were afraid of interrupting the process and hurting him. For a moment, they didn't know what action to take. But just when they were anxious, the purple-red light covering Qin-Ji gradually receded, and Qin-Ji's figure appeared in front of everyone again, but at this time there was a smile on his lips, as if he knew something good. The message is the same. Commander? How are you now? A group of ship girls quickly gathered around, and the centaur asked Qin-Ji anxiously. Qin-Ji smiled and shook his head. I didn't try. I'm very good now, and I seem to have learned some great information just now. Information? What information? Hao on the side asked curiously, and even the other ship girls couldn't help but become curious when they saw that Qin-Ji was safe and sound. Qin-Ji smiled and said, she is not the project ship we call it. They have an official name, called Scientific Research Ship. Scientific Research Ship, a group of ship girls said this name in confusion, and Qai on the side said, it matches the scientific research that crystallized the scientific research test data. Qin-Ji nodded, yes, the scientific research and test data crystallization is to provide a carrier of combat data for the scientific research and construction of the Rubik's Cube, so after the mental Rubik's Cube swallowed the scientific research and test data crystal, it became able to be constructed. Build, Guanghui said, but there is no builder on our command ship now. It seems that we can only go back and build. Who said she needs a builder? Qin-Ji said with a smile. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 437. Not only Qin-Ji's ship girl, but also how his counterattack screamed in surprise at this time. No need for a builder? Is this still a ship girl? Hao said in surprise. Qin-Ji looked at Hao and smiled and said, have you forgotten the salvaged ship girls? And you ship girls who woke up independently on the sea, have you ever used the builder? This. Hao was immediately stopped by Qin-Ji's question. So not all ship girls need builders to be built, and scientific research ship girls are the kind that don't need builders, Qin-Ji said to everyone. So Commander, can we build this scientific research ship girl now? Javelin asked curiously. Qin-Ji nodded, yes, it's not just me now, even she can't wait. So how should it be built? Hao asked a question that all ship girls were curious about. Qin-Ji smiled and said to Belfast, Belfast, did you bring any supplies and Rubik's Cube when you came out this time? Master's unused supplies and Rubik's Cube from the last construction are all kept here, so how much does Master need? Belfast said with a bow. 30,000 units of supplies and 5 mental cubes, Qin-Ji said to Belfast. Belfast nodded, I have all these things here, so where does the Master need to put these things? On the table or on the ground? Qin-Ji looked at the layout inside the command ship, then pointed to an open space and said to Belfast, just put the supplies and the mind cube on the ground there, and the others should step back a little. Yes, Master. Belfast nodded, then walked to the location pointed by Qin-Ji, placed 30,000 units of supplies and 5 mental cubes on the ground, and then slowly followed the other ship girls. Stay away from that area. After the other ship girls left, Qin-Ji stepped forward under the gaze of the ship girl, placed the mental cube that was still glowing with purple-red light in his hand between the supplies and the ordinary mental cube, and placed the ordinary mental cube. The Rubik's Cube is set up. After everything was done, he stood up and took a step or two back, closing his eyes against the purple-red mind cube in front of him. At this moment, the purple-red mental Rubik's Cube released an even stronger light, covering all the materials on the ground and the ordinary mental Rubik's Cube inside. All the ship girls looked at this magical scene and couldn't help but scream in surprise. Because what is visible to the naked eye is that the materials and the mind cube shrouded in the purple-red light are decreasing rapidly, as if they have all been absorbed by the purple-red mind cube placed in the center. Immediately afterwards, a mist emerged from the purple-red light, and the purple-red light gradually became darker and darker, until the fog completely enveloped the place and no more purple-red light was revealed. The sound of a tiny crack suddenly appeared, as if something was broken. I saw a golden light suddenly bursting out from the thick fog. The golden light soared into the sky and reflected on everyone's faces, including Qin-Ji who was closest to it. And with the golden light shining, the entire thick fog seemed to start to move. A whirlwind suddenly appeared, and then blew the fog away, and a figure appeared in the position of the mind cube just now. Because of the whirlwind that appeared before, everyone couldn't help but close their eyes and put their hands in front of themselves to resist the whirlwind. So when the whirlwind passed, everyone couldn't help but open their mouths when they saw the figure standing there. She has long ochre hair, a navy hat on her head, a Royal Navy uniform, and a long cane in her hand. The whole person looked very noble and heroic. Especially how, she felt that the aura of the unknown ship girl in front of her was no less than that of her own sister George. The aura mentioned here is not strength, but the aura of identity that radiates from the inside out. When all the ship girls were carefully looking at the scientific research ship girl who appeared in front of them, the scientific research ship girl also opened her eyes. After looking around for a week, she fixed her purple eyes on Qin-Ji. When we first meet, I am the battleship lord. Is the royal family in such a miserable state that they ask for help from me who was abandoned before? It's no wonder that the monarch said this. After all the people on this command ship are royal ship girls, so when the monarch appeared and didn't understand the situation, he naturally thought that the royal family was miserable enough to turn to her for help. So Qin-Ji reacted instantly and said to the monarch, "Hello, monarch, maybe you misunderstood. Although they are royal ship girls, they are not affiliated with the royal family now. Because they are all my ship girls, of course. That includes you." The monarch was stunned for a moment, watching Qin-Ji stretch out his hand, and then took Qin-Ji's hand in his. "Yes, it is this temperature and this spirit that I can always feel when I am sleeping," the monarch said in a daze. Qin-Ji was a little stunned when he saw this scene. Why did the monarch who seemed very conceited just now become like this in an instant? "Are you okay?" Qin-Ji said to the monarch in front of him. The monarch nodded, "I'm fine, really fine." Qin-Ji smiled and said, "Let me introduce myself. My name is Qin-Ji. I will be your commander from today on. I hope I can give you more advice in the future." The monarch's face straightened up and changed back to the heroic look just now. The Royal Navy battleship Sovereign is one of the abandoned plans for the George V-class battleship. Even if they are outdated and have flaws, they can continue as a matter of course. It exists. When he finished speaking, the monarch's voice was obviously self-deprecating, and he also glanced sideways at Hao, who was standing not far away. Of course Qin-Ji knew what the monarch said. Due to the tight military budget of the royal family and the war situation, the 15C plan was never used. Qin-Ji shook his head and said, "In fact, the existence of each model has its inevitability, combined with many specific factors at that time. Don't blame the royal family entirely. After all, everyone had difficulties at that time. But now that you can appear here, that is the best proof of your existence, so instead of wondering whether you should exist, it is better to prove yourself to the world that your existence is the best George V class." The monarch couldn't help but smile after hearing this. "Ah, sure enough. To me, you are the only special existence in this world. No one had any expectations for me before I met you. Don't worry, I will prove my excellence." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 438. Qin-Ji's heart tightened when he heard the words of the monarch in front of him, and then a feeling of pity came out. In any case, the royal family did betray the monarch before, and she struggled with that betrayal for such a long time, until today she was summoned by Qin-Ji and took on her true form. At this time, feeling the warmth of his hand, Qin Ji smiled slightly. Then, I will wait for you to be active on the battlefield. Yes, Commander, the monarch responded to Qin Ji. But the next battle is not something you can participate in just when you show up, so just stay by my side, Qin Ji said to the monarch. But the monarch shook her head, and she said to Qin Ji, Commander, I request to participate in the next battle. Qin Ji frowned. No, because we have now encountered a high-level humanoid siren. She has now set up 6 levels waiting for us. Although we have passed the first level after hard work, there are still 5 more levels to come, waiting for us. And you have just appeared and your level of training is not high. Participating in such a fierce battle may directly kill you. For your future growth, I cannot let you participate in such a battle. The monarch smiled slightly, and she seemed to understand why Qin Ji would not let him participate in the battle. So he said to Qin Ji, Commander, I understand what you mean, but maybe you made a mistake. Huh? Qin Ji looked at the monarch in confusion. What? Ever since I was in the state of the mental cube, I have accumulated a large amount of combat data. Such huge combat data is enough for me to reach the level of full training you mentioned just now. And with sufficient supplies and the energy of the mental cube, I completed all breakthroughs as soon as I appeared. So my current strength, according to my perception, is much stronger than that KGV over there. The monarch said, pointing to how in the distance. At this time, both Qin Ji and all the other ship girls looked at the monarch in surprise. They were in disbelief for a moment. At this time, the monarch smiled slightly. All of this depends on the fact that the commander has been working hard for my appearance for such a long time. So my appearance is to repay your efforts during this period of time. Moreover, when ship girls like us appear, they will naturally have a damage bonus to those siren fleets. And these are all because all the battle data was collected after fighting with the siren army, so with such comprehensive strength, I can definitely enter the battle. Qin Ji was a little surprised when he listened to the monarch's explanation. He couldn't help laughing. If this is really the case, that would be great. Then we can now gather 4 aircraft carriers and 4 battle lines. For the next few the level of control becomes even greater. But I have a question, why do you say that you are stronger than how when you haven't awakened yet? That's because I appear here to prove myself, the monarch said domineeringly. Qin Ji nodded. In that case, I won't stop you from joining the battle, but because we have just finished the battle, it will take more than 9 hours before the next battle begins. Take advantage of this time to let Belfast arrange your dormitory, and then take a good rest. After waiting for 9 hours, we will start the official battle. Yes, Commander, the monarch responded. At this time, Belfast walked up to the monarch, made a standard maid ceremony and said to the monarch, Miss Monarch, please follow me. The monarch nodded, and finally looked at Qin Ji. Qin Ji smiled at her, and the monarch followed Belfast towards the crew dormitory. Only when the monarch disappeared into the hull of the command ship did all the other ship girls react. They came to Qin Ji one after another, their eyes full of surprise. Commander, she. Guanghui wanted to say something, but didn't say it halfway. Qin Ji smiled and said, it's nothing. In fact, we should be glad now that the efforts we have made during this period are effective. And now at such a critical juncture, another fully trained ship girl has joined us. Camp, this is a timely matter. That's true, Rodney nodded, and then smiled. I think Guanghui may have felt that the monarch cares about the commander too much, right? It has reached such a level as soon as it came out, so I am a little worried. My own royal status. Guanghui turned around and pulled Rodney. What are you talking about? What's wrong with the palace? Have you read too many Dong Huang novels recently? Qin Ji couldn't help coughing when he heard the words of the 2 ship girls, and then interrupted their conversation. After all, the 2 of them talked more and more outrageously, and they didn't know where the topic would go after that. Besides, there was a child like Javelin here, and it would not be good to teach her bad things. In fact, for the monarch, I may be similar to her support, right? After all, she was built under that kind of situation. Everyone abandoned her and no one expected her. And I actually think the monarch's character is quite good. You can take a look at the iron-blooded Count Zeppelin and compare the two, and you will know how good the monarch's character and tolerance are. Qin Ji said with a smile. If Count Zeppelin is treated like that by Iron Blood, then maybe there will be a big fight right after it is built. That hateful monster, Qai said to Qin Ji. Kai Wei. As soon as Qai spoke, Guang Hui immediately stopped him. You should improve your ladylike etiquette. Speaking ill of others behind their backs is not allowed. Oh, yes, Sister Qai immediately shrank back. It seemed that she was quite afraid of Guang Hui. Qin Ji looked at Qai with great interest. Hate monster? Who gave this nickname to Zeppelin? Well, Osborne and the others. Qai replied, selling Osborne out without hesitation. Qin Ji smiled and said, a person who claims to be a righteous partner meets someone who wants to destroy the world, so he is nicknamed a hate monster? It is quite reasonable. After laughing and joking with his ship girl, Qin Ji turned around and looked at the somewhat complicated Hao. What's the matter? You don't look good. Hao shook his head, looked at the direction where the previous monarch disappeared, and said to Qin Ji, I didn't expect that she would hate the royal family so much. Qin Ji shook his head. No, I can feel that she doesn't hate the royal family. Maybe she is a little confused about the royal family eliminating her and choosing your George V class. After all, she is obviously so powerful and far superior to you in terms of firepower, so she must be a little unwilling. Yeah. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 439. Yes, Qin Ji nodded firmly. I believe she will be a very generous person, so you have to relax and prove your strength. Let the monarch also see that the royal family at that time there is value in choosing you. Hao smiled and nodded. Suddenly I feel that you are very good, Commander Qin Ji. I think after this battle, I will apply to the royal family to change the special envoy sent here. Oh? Why? Qin Ji asked confused. Hao smiled sweetly, because I'm afraid that if I stay by your side any longer, I will be infected by your charm, and then leave everything behind and join your fleet. Qin Ji couldn't help laughing after hearing this. Is this a compliment to me? Perhaps there is no truer compliment than this, Hao said with a wink. Qin Ji smiled and touched his nose. Okay, your compliments are very helpful to me. But I hope you can stay. Maybe joining my fleet in the future will be a good choice. Counterattack smiled at this time. Commander Qin Ji, I can't pretend not to see your blatant inducement behavior. What's the point? Anyway, Akagi and Kaga from the Sakura camp have already joined our fleet. Although we had an agreement with our commander before, as Guanghui became the awakened ship girl and the monarch was successfully summoned, this agreement has been completed. After we leave this Mirror Sea, and when we go to battle next time, our fleet will have 3 awakened ship girls. Rodney smiled. However, they are both very powerful. The leader of a camp will be abandoned at any time. An awakened ship girl will join the commander's fleet when she is asked to join. They really leave no room for themselves, Counterattack said with emotion. After all, such a long time has passed since the meeting of the 9 major camp heads of state, so it is no longer a secret that the other 8 major camp leaders know that Akagi and Kaga have joined Qin Ji's fleet. Okay, let us talk about this later. Don't think about anything now. Everyone will anchor the command ship immediately and go to rest. We will gather here again in 9 hours to prepare for the second wave. Checkpoint. Qin Ji smiled. Yes, Commander. All the ship girls said to Qin Ji, including Hao He, who temporarily joined Qin Ji's fleet and counterattacked. So everyone else moved to the crew dormitory, and Qin also walked to his own dormitory. They must now ensure adequate rest so that they can better face the second level. 9 hours was actually not a long time. It passed quickly after everyone fell asleep. When the time passed, all the ship girls, including Qing, returned to their original positions in the hall. According to the previous formation, except for Hao and counterattack, everyone else was in the water. In a wheel-shaped formation, they guarded around the command sword, waiting for the sea fog to dissipate. Soon, the sea fog in front of everyone gradually dissipated, and the charming voice reappeared. Haha, it seems that you are very energetic now, so the next step is the second level challenge. With the added strength of one person, can you pass it successfully? I'm looking forward to it. By the time that charming voice gradually disappeared, the fog on the sea had also receded. The entire sea and sky were cloudless and calm. At this moment, 4 large fleets appeared on the radar in front of Qin. Everyone's attention, 4 large siren fleets have appeared in front of us. The aircraft carrier-based aircraft have taken off to compete for air supremacy. The rest have put up a defensive formation and are alert to the incoming vanguard fleet. Qin quickly ordered, and in the end he said specifically to the monarch, "Monarch, this is the first battle you have participated in. Try to follow Rodney's side and don't do any unnecessary things." Reporting to Commander, when the mental cube decomposes the combat data, your usual training formations, plans, etc. have been recorded in my data, so please rest assured that I will definitely follow the fleet's footsteps. The monarch's voice appeared in the communicator. Qin nodded clearly, then this is best. After the order was completed, Hao and counterattack began to stare at the battlefield in front of them, waiting for the war to begin. The first one to reach the sky above the 4 siren armies was still the glorious fighter jet, and she judged the situation of the 4 siren fleets very quickly. Report to Commander, among the 4 fleets that appeared, 3 fleets are exactly the same as the last fleet, and have the same level of training. And the other large siren fleet has a game breaker in it. Qin nodded after hearing the message, game breaker, battle type siren humanoid. I understand. This time the order of battle has changed. After seizing the air supremacy, the game breaker will be dealt with first, using airstrike tactics, and the others will be killed. Ship girl, just follow the previous steps. Yes, Commander. After hearing the response from the ship girls, Qin put down the communicator in his hand and began to raise his head to look into the distance, where a fierce battle was breaking out high in the sky. Hao on the side stepped forward and said to Qin, if I guessed correctly, then there will be 5 siren fleets appearing in the next level, and it is possible that the leader of the 5th siren fleet is the chess player. Aircraft carrier type siren dolls, I believe that fleet will have more aircraft carriers. If that is really the case, then Commander Qin, your tactic of gaining air superiority first will not be guaranteed. Qin looked into the distance and couldn't help but nodded, yes, 4 aircraft carriers against 4 fleets is the limit. This time the fight for air supremacy is much slower than before. If there is a 5th siren fleet led by a chess player, then the guarantee of air supremacy at the beginning is nonsense. At that time, it is time to consider how to prevent the opponent's carrier-based aircraft from attacking. Then does Commander Qin have any solution? Hao said with a smile. Qin nodded, although it is a bit risky with our current fleet strength, if we want to cause the largest battle loss ratio, we must do this. So wait until the 3rd level, then you will join the battle sequence together, and we will start a strong attack. Indeed, it's time to launch a strong attack. Hao smiled, her eyes full of fighting spirit. For nearly more than a year, she had never fired a gun. She had to have a hearty battle to soothe her mood. And the next level is when she attacks. The counterattack on the side was also very exciting. Although he didn't like fighting, how could he escape such a battle? She is a veteran of the royal family, and this time she will definitely let the royal light shine on the entire sea. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 440. Under Guanghui's leadership, it took nearly an hour for Qin Ji's aircraft carrier to gain air supremacy. This took a lot longer than the last competition for air supremacy. Perhaps even if the next fleet that appears is not led by the chess player, it may be difficult to gain air supremacy. Therefore, it was time to have to fight back. But the main consideration now is this battle. Qin Ji wants to see the true strength of the monarch. Perhaps knowing the expectation in Qin Ji's heart, the monarch waited until Guanghui and others took control of the air, and then followed the fleet forward. After arriving at the firing position of the main gun of the battle line, he displayed his main gun, aimed at a light cruiser in front, and shouted loudly, "The King's disdain." I saw 3 turrets firing at the same time. The shells passed through the sky with a bright flash and landed accurately on the light cruiser. The light cruiser was overwhelmed in an instant and sank directly. While everyone was surprised, a barrage had already gathered around the monarch. These barrages were all blue, not like Rodney's, but like an eagle spreading its wings. In an instant, it took off from in front of the monarch and rushed directly towards the opponent's fleet with great force. Accompanied by a series of bombardments, this barrage destroyed at least 7 or 8 enemy mass-produced warships. Hao Hei, who was not far away from the ship girl, naturally saw the scene and couldn't help but take a breath. "You told me this is a fully trained ship girl?" "Destroyed nearly 10 battleships with one shot," Counterattack said loudly. "Even if I have awakened now, I can't do such a crazy thing. One round of bombardment taking away at most 3 or 4 battleships is already the limit." Hao was also full of surprise. "It's really amazing. Is this the power of a scientific research ship? Even if it is not awakened, even if it is just born, it already has such a powerful power." Qin Ji is also very surprised now. After all, his Rodney level training is already very high. He is the second batch of ship girls built by Qin Ji. And due to such a long period of fighting, he now has about 90 levels of training, but he is far from as powerful as the monarch. Although she also has barrages, the damage caused by those barrages to the battleships in front of her is still limited, and she cannot create as powerful an impact as the monarch. Moreover, the naval guns currently carried by the sovereign are the same as those of Rodney. Rodney's naval gun fires once every 17 seconds, so the sovereign's should be about the same. Sure enough, as Qin Ji expected, more than 10 seconds later, the monarch fired another round of artillery fire. This bombardment destroyed about 10 more battleships, and even the heavy cruisers and battleships were caught in the monarch's bombardment and barrage, no different from the previous light cruisers. As a result, under the leadership of the powerful monarch and after gaining control of the air, Qin Ji's fleet was overwhelming, and no warship could withstand the monarch's bombardment. Even a siren figure as powerful as the breaker sank to the bottom of the sea in 2 volleys. However, in such an overwhelming situation, Qin Ji discovered a problem. That is, the monarch's barrage attack is the same as Rodney's barrage attack. There is a certain chance that the barrage attack will fail. But the difference is that the monarch's bombardment is equally powerful. Even if there is no barrage, 1 round of bombardment can destroy about 3 enemy warships. Perhaps because there was a powerful battleship in the team, the battle this time was very hardy and fast. Even though it took nearly an hour to fight for air supremacy, the battle still ended faster than the last time. When the last ocean leader sank, a whirlpool suddenly appeared in front of the ship girls, just like the end of the first level. I saw a box falling from the whirlpool and landing on the sea. The charming voice suddenly appeared again. "Congratulations on passing the second level of the trial. With the help of the scientific research ship girl, it seems that your strength has been further enhanced. So this box contains the second level. Reward, battleship modification drawings. As for the third level, it will be opened again in 10 hours. Haha, come on, don't let us down. After the charming voice disappeared, sea fog gradually rose from the sea. This time, the speed was slower. It was obvious that she wanted the ship girl to evacuate the fighting position as soon as possible. So Qin picked up the communicator and said to all the ship girls, recover the boxes that fell on the sea, and then quickly withdraw to the command ship. Yes, Commander. A group of ship girls answered quickly, and then quickly picked up the boxes on the sea and withdrew back to the command ship. When all the ship girls retreated to the command ship, the fog on the sea became thicker and thicker until they could no longer see anything. However, Qin and the other ship girls were used to the scene and did not pay much attention to the sea mist. They focused all their attention on the box given by Siren. This time, Belfast placed the box directly on the table, and then opened it in front of Qin and others. He had already experienced it last time, so no one cared about it this time. There were a total of 5 golden drawings lying inside. After everyone walked by and saw it, Hao on the side said, "Oh, this is a good thing." "Do you know this?" Qin asked quickly. "I know, in fact, the 9 major camps have mastered this transformation technology, but there are relatively few transformation drawings that can be created, so it has not been promoted on a large scale. It will only be given to some commanders with outstanding military exploits and let them use their military exploits to redeem it. And there are relatively few ship girls who can be transformed now. Take Commander Qin as an example of your current ship girls. There are only 3 people who can be transformed. They are Zealot and Javelin as destroyers. As for other ship girls, they cannot be transformed for the time being, or they have no way to transform them." Hao explained to Qin. "Oh? What are the benefits after the transformation?" Qin asked. "Of course there are benefits," Hao smiled. "First of all, the rarity of the transformed ship girl will be increased by 1 level. For example, if she is a rare level ship girl now, she will become an elite level ship girl after the transformation. And whether it is main gun damage, torpedo damage, carrier-based aircraft damage, artillery hit rate, etc., there will be improvements, and a brand new stunt will be obtained after the transformation. Generally, the special levels obtained after transformation are relatively powerful, so when it is possible to transform, it is better to try to transform it as much as possible." Qin nodded. "So are there any restrictions on the transformation of the ship girl?" "Some. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 441. Qin asked, "What kind of restrictions are there?" Hao immediately explained, "First of all, the ship girl who wants to be transformed must have a full breakthrough. In other words, she needs to break through 3 times before she can accept the transformation, otherwise she will not be able to. Secondly, the ship girl to be transformed must meet certain training requirements before she can accept the transformation. According to our research, ordinary ship girls and rare ship girls must reach level 80 before they can undergo transformation, while elite ship girls must reach level 85 or above before they can undergo complete transformation." Qin nodded after listening, and then faced the 3 ship girls who could be transformed and asked, "So you have heard it, what is your training level now?" "Reporting to Commander, my training level is still not up to the requirements. Now my training level is only over 50, and I haven't made my 3rd breakthrough yet," Ze said, a little disappointed. After all, according to what Hao said, transformation is equivalent to becoming stronger. He enthusiastically wants to become stronger and be able to help his commander more, but unfortunately, his current training level and number of breakthroughs are not up to that, so he can only continue. Tried. Qin Ji nodded and patted his enthusiastic head with his hand. It doesn't matter. Although your training level is not high enough now, we will have plenty of time in the future. When your training level is high enough, I will help you transform it. Yes, Commander, he nodded enthusiastically. Then Qin Ji looked at Javelin beside him, and saw that Javelin also looked nervous. What's wrong? Didn't I remember that you have already made a third breakthrough? Yes, but I don't know what my specific training level is now, Javelin said nervously. This is very simple. If you reach out and hold my hand, I can feel the aura of training in your body, Hao said to the Javelin. Yes, Javelin nodded, then reached out and held Hao's hand. Looking at the scene in front of him, Qin Ji couldn't help but think of Akagi and Kaga. From here you can see the gap between Akagi, Kaga, and Go. Akagi and Kaga did not come into contact with the light at first, but with their own eyesight alone, they can find that the light has traces of awakening. But now Hao has to hold Javelin's hand and make contact before he can know her level of training by sensing her breath. This is the gap between awakening ship girls. While Qin Ji was thinking, Hao opened his eyes and put down his javelin hand. Your current training level is 86, and you have reached the point where you can break through. Really? Javelin said in surprise. Hao nodded. Of course it's true. Qin Ji nodded, then looked at Hao. How should it be modified? How to operate it? Hao smiled and said, give her a battleship transformation blueprint, and the energy in her body will absorb the blueprint, just like the previous monarch. Then it only takes a little time to complete the transformation. Qin Ji nodded. Is there anything strange during the transformation process? Do you feel any pain? Hao shook his head. I don't know about this, but I think there shouldn't be any pain. After all, it's just a transformation, not a dismantling. Qin Ji couldn't help but smile, then picked up a modified drawing from the table and handed it to Javelin. Then come on, Javelin, Qin Ji said with a smile, after you succeed, you will be the first modified ship girl in our team. Well, don't worry, Commander, Javelin nodded, then held the transformation drawings given to her by Qin Ji in both hands. As soon as the blueprint was obtained, the Javelin's body involuntarily emitted a purple light, and then the blueprint gradually began to emit light. Just like the previous scene where the purple mental Rubik's Cube where the monarch was and the scientific research data were integrated together. The transformation drawing gradually integrated into Javelin's body, and then the light became brighter and brighter. Qin Ji and the other ship girls couldn't help but walk towards the distance. The light lasted for about 2 or 3 minutes, and the last ray of golden light burst out from the purple light. Gradually 2, then 3, until the golden light completely covered the purple light, and the entire transformation was completely completed. As the light gradually began to extinguish, the figure of the Javelin reappeared in front of everyone. Compared with his previous appearance, Javelin is more mature now. If he looked like a freshman in junior high school before, now he has been transformed into a third-year junior high student. Moreover, the clothes she is wearing have also changed. It used to be a suspender skirt, but now it has become a one-piece sailor skirt. She is also wearing a pair of white stockings on her legs, and her shoes have also been changed. What was originally a white glove with a bow on it has now turned into 2 black silk sleeves, with a bow on each sleeve. Just as Qin Ji was observing Javelin's changes, Javelin also opened his eyes and looked at Qin Ji. Commander, Javelin said happily to Qin Ji, I have completed the transformation now. Qin Ji was also very surprised. So besides the changes in your appearance, Javelin, are there any new changes? Appearance. Javelin then looked at his body and found that his appearance had changed a little. Hey, he has become more beautiful. Qin Ji smiled and said, okay, let's enjoy it later. First, tell me, what kind of things have you changed now? Yes, Javelin nodded, then stretched out his hand and flashed a blue light, summoning his own javelin. At this time, I saw that the javelin weapon was emitting blue light at the tip, and there was a halo on it. Expand the assault mode, switch to maximum output. Commander, look, this gun's new mode will shine, Javelin said excitedly to Qin Ji. Looking at Javelin's new weapon, Qin Ji smiled and said, so has your firepower increased now? Yes, not only has the firepower increased, I also have an additional special skill, which is the assault mode mentioned before. When the assault mode is activated, my torpedo attack will be even more powerful, Javelin said. Qin Ji smiled slightly, it seems that the strength of our fleet has increased again. I will be even more powerful in the future and help the commander defeat those sirens, Javelin said to Qin Ji. Now that the transformation has been completed, Belfast, put away the remaining transformation drawings. When we go back, we will see if the other ship girls can still be transformed, Qin Ji said to Belfast. Yes, Master, Belfast saluted, and then put away the transformation drawings. After Belfast collected the transformation drawings, Qin Ji said to everyone, then let's all go to rest. After we regain our spirits, there will be another battle. Yes, Commander. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 442. Haven't found it yet, Bismarck said, standing in front of the communication device. No, I haven't contacted the commander until now, Prince Eugen's voice came from the communication device. How is it possible? We all passed through that storm. Logically speaking, the commander cannot fail to pass, Bismarck said solemnly. Eugen, how are the searches of the other two fleets going? They have been found. Except for the slight damage to the hull of the command ship, everyone is fine. Moreover, the damaged hull is already being repaired. Once the repair is completed, we can search for the commander together, Prince Eugen said. Arrive. Report your position quickly, we are ready to move over. Now we are facing the sea area with erosion level 4, so don't spread too far to avoid discovering the Siren fleet and causing unnecessary damage, Bismarck said. Yes, our position is in your 275th direction. You can let Peter's carrier-based aircraft lead you to find it, Prince Eugen replied. Okay, we'll be there right away. After Bismarck said that, he hung up the communicator. Sister, haven't you found the commander yet? U-556 asked at the side. Bismarck shook his head. We have contacted the other two teams of ship girls, but we still haven't found the commander. U-556 said to Bismarck, don't worry, eldest sister. The commander is so smart, he will be fine. Moreover, he is accompanied by Guanghui and the special envoy sent by the royal family. They are all awakened ship girls, and they will definitely ensure that the commander is okay. Bismarck nodded, I hope so too, so we have to step up our search now. Notify Peter and have her carrier-based aircraft follow our 275 direction to track down Eugen's location. Yes, eldest sister, U-556 saluted Bismarck, then hurriedly ran out to find Peter Strasser. Just when Bismarck and others were looking for Qin Ji and others in the sea, Qin Ji and others faced a new round of level challenges. This time, Hao and counterattack also joined the battle. Although they have never fought with the army commanded by Qin Ji, they have been familiar with Qin Ji's command formation after staying on Qin Ji's command ship for such a long time, so after a simple run-in, they have quickly mastered it. At this time, the glorious carrier-based aircraft also came to the sky above the Siren fleet that appeared in the third level, and reported the opponent's lineup this time to Qin Ji, who was still in the command ship. Commander, as you expected, a total of 5 large Siren fleets appeared this time, and the 5th large Siren fleet was commanded by the chess player. Our carrier-based aircraft can only compete with them in competing for airspace, so there is a high probability that they will not be able to help the surface fleet this time. However, we will also do our best to intercept their carrier-based aircraft and prevent them from posing any threat to the surface fleet. Qin Ji listened to Guanghui's report from the communication device, nodded and said, I understand, you will fight each other in the airspace. All other sea ship girls, this time it is your turn to attack. Yes, Commander. The communicator sounded the response of a group of ship girls, and then Qin Ji saw that his ship girls began to move forward, and he also activated the command ship and followed them from a distance. The offensive and defensive battle on the sea soon began. Belfast worked steadily, and after confirming the view of the battleships behind him, he directly raised smoke bombs on the spot, protecting himself from being attacked by the opponent's battleships. Also in the smoke bombs, a torpedo is released in the direction of the opponent from time to time. After the modification, the javelin has become very flexible, and its maneuverability has been greatly improved. While constantly pouring artillery fire on the destroyers and light cruisers approaching her, she slid her body gorgeously, allowing the shells to land one by one at a place beside her where they could not hurt her. As for zeal, they provided fire interference behind the two of them, making it impossible for the opponent's vanguard battleship to damage one's own battleship so quickly. The battleships began to pour out artillery fire, and the cannonballs and barrage rained down like rain. After each round of shooting, the Siren fleet in an area of the sea area was directly evaporated, and the situation on the sea area was excellent. However, such a scene made Qin Ji feel that something was wrong, because when he first entered the Mirror Sea, the Siren side should have known that he had an awakened aircraft carrier and 2 awakened battleships. But until now, the fleets sent by Siren have been proceeding step by step. Although it has increased to 5 large fleets, it is already a disaster for ordinary commanders, but for the awakening ship girl, these fleets are not too much to watch. So, what exactly is the Siren planning? Now it's the 3rd level. Could it be that? Qin Ji suddenly thought of something bad, and his face darkened. This appetizer lasts a bit long. It seems that the real test starts from the 4th level, Qin Ji said to himself as he looked at the battlefield in front of him. But what he didn't know was that everything he said was listened to by the Siren. Haha, interesting. He is really a flexible-minded human being. I can see it now. The observer looked at the screen in front of him and said with a smile. Now that he sees it, should we adjust the 4th, 5th, and 6th levels? The tester asked. The observer shook his head. Why adjust it? Since he has already seen it, we should stick to the original appearance. This is more interesting, isn't it? We are not here to win, we need to collect more combat data. And have you noticed that under his command, although the strength of his ship girls has not changed much, the formation has become more flexible, and the overall combat effectiveness has been improved a lot. Haha, facing this situation, isn't that what we want to see? But if they really pass the 6th level, are you really going to hand over the mind cube to them? The tester asked. That guy is not easy to deal with. Why not? The anomalies that came to this world through time and space formed the most powerful awakening force in the world. I want to see how powerful these 2 strange combinations can be. If everything proves feasible, then we will report the situation to Dreamweaver so that she can perform such operations in other numbered worlds. The observer said with some profound meaning. But I advise you not to go too far. If you lure them here and turn this world into a battlefield, it will be more than worth the gain, the tester warned. Haha, them. They are chasing that person now, and they haven't had time to come to the numbered world yet. The observer smiled. Even if they come, what's the use?